es paloma blanca. Hoy te vengo.
Era buena vida aquí en Nuevo México.
It was always a good life here in New Mexico. I come from a people who are very old. I have Navajo grandparents on both sides.
Reino celestial.
Mis abuelitos fueron rancheros.
My grandparents were ranchers. My father's parents were animal breeders. My mother's father was a poor man, but yet he had a large family, and with honest work, he supported all his children. So, my father followed as a rancher. We planted chile, vegetables, beans, and corn. We harvested much food. I got married when I was 18 years old. My husband was crippled and could not work much. It was then that I learned to weave. Because my grandparents were weavers, I made a living with my weaving and with what the ranch produces, because the ranch provides for me and for my animals. Then I only had a need to buy sugar, coffee, shoes, and material to make clothes, because I have always made my clothes all my life. That is another thing that is helpful about ranch life. I have made my life very comfortable.
Y tenemos muy grande descendencia.
I have quite a large family. I have 8 children and 67 grandchildren, and I have 45 great-grandchildren. So there are over 100 people from my blood. When my father died, he left me his house and his ranch because I took care of him. This house, not all, but part of it, is over 100 years old. It is all made of earth. And so this is how my family and I made our life until I got them all married.
Y luego me quedé sola.
Then I was left alone. My father died, my mother died, my husband died. And today I am 77 years old, and I am still weaving and taking care of my ranch. But that way, I make my life with my work. My ranch produces a lot in the summer. My land is filled with chile, vegetables, beans, and alfalfa, which I sell. That is what my ranch produces in the summer. I can no longer take care of all my ranch, as my land is quite large. I can't do it all anymore. That is why my daughter's children, the ones that live near me, are always helping. I don't have a male son here, not one. One son lives in Utah, and the other lives in El Paso. So it's my daughters and grandchildren that help me. And we'll go out and plant, be it the chili, corn, whatever we're going to plant. And the summer will go with the work of the hoe and the shovel.
Ándale, mijito. Qué pena, pero el puro que esté chile bueno. No pepenes del que no sirve. Mira ese que está colorado, está muy grande.
Until the crops start coming. The first to come are the melons, and the radishes, and the squash. All of it for their house. We have no need to go to the market. We have it all here. Then come the other people, those who don't plant. They come to buy until all is gone. Chile is a little troublesome in every way. We spend 3 months hoeing the plants. When it ripens, because it ripens on the plants, we pick the chili off and pile it up until it gets very red, and then we hang it up to dry. Just as soon as we finish tying the chile, we're going to eat the melon, and then to the table. But we have to work a little hard. One's grandparents are the ones who'll be nice and teach you more when you're young. One's father and mother may give you a spanking once in a while, but not grandfather. He'll say, look, my child, we do this, and this goes this way, and that we do another way, and you go along very happy and content with your old grandparents. And I live very, very happy with all my family and with all my neighbors, all of them equally. The thing that is wrong about television is that it teaches the youngsters how to fight and how to rob. TV does nothing for me. It doesn't bewitch me. My grandchildren, they watch television. When people visit me, it doesn't matter if my grandchildren are caught up with a movie. I turn it off because I want to talk and to be with people. Tell your Aunt Blue about your brother who was sick from his stomach. I give herbs to everyone. You have to know herbs well because there are some herbs that are very poisonous. I use nothing but herbs. The pagay, the cota. I boil the toad's weed, trementina. If you have a stomach ache, you use chan. For a headache, there's another herb that grows in the fields named Carlos Santo. All this comes from my great-grandfather. Indians were better experts with herbs than we are. My great-grandfather was Indian. He was Navajo. I go to church Sunday after Sunday. Older children today seldom go near a church. That is because they are straying to another road. While before, this didn't happen. A mother would say, let's go to church. And we would all go. The children and grown-ups all off to church. And then we would come home. I still do all of my own work. I cut firewood for the stove. I have to bring in the firewood from outside. And my water I bring in from outside. I have to bring in water because I have nothing else but my pans. And my toilet is over there, under the poplar trees, away from the house. And I still use it. I still don't want anything inside the house because that would hurt my natural habits and the system of my body. If everything were inside, I wouldn't go outside. I wouldn't feel the vigor and cleansing of winter. Today, everyone uses gas. But the gas stove doesn't cook food as good as a wood stove. The wood stove is less expensive and provides a warmth for one's health that is better than gas. How couldn't the life we had before be better than we have nowadays? I still have the beliefs of my parents in everything. When I make tortillas, I'll put 8, 10, 12 tortillas on the table, and they'll be gone in one meal. Tortillas, beans, potatoes, chile, and atole are the most delicious foods I have eaten in my whole life. I'll cook my beans in my pot, and I make chile in my pan. I'll make my tortillas, and there is no waste of anything. I use my shoes until they're completely worn. And then I'll burn them in the stove and make a tortilla. Chili we plant in April. We hoe it all summer. And in October, we put it in the house. When it is dry, we take the seeds out and toast it. Because when it is toasted, it will have a good flavor. I grind it, and then it goes into the frying pan. I'll make chile with meat and with eggs or salmon. We eat chile in all different ways. Dry corn is also not as delicious if it is uncooked. We toast it and then grind it, and from the flour we make atole and chaquewe. Chaquewe is made by boiling the water until it gets very thick and almost dries out in the pan, but not atole. We heat a certain amount of water, but it stays thin because you drink atole from a cup, and chaquewe we eat with a spoon. This is an Indian method. We may consider ourselves Mexicans, and we may consider ourselves Hispanics, or whatever we want, but we are more Indian. I like summer more than winter because we have everything we need in the house. We don't have to go out and look for anything. We have much abundance in the house. Like those flatlands are covered with plants and flowers and herbs we can eat. In my times, we would all get together and go and weed out the neighbor's ranch. The fields would be full of people, all of us together, mothers, fathers, and children, all united. I make my living with my ranch. I sell and give of everything, and in the winter, I survive with my serapes. I weave all winter long. I weave serapes, and I weave rugs from old rags. My grandparents, as I have said, because they were Navajos, were also weavers. And that's where I started, and I'm still weaving. My daughters are also weavers. I use Mexican wool. It comes from the animal. I first wash it, then I card it, and then I make it into thread. After I make the thread, I dye it. I dye some colors with herbs, and I dye other colors with commercial tints. To begin a serape, one first puts down the foundation. That's the warp. I usually spend the whole day on the warp, undulating it outside. On the next day, I put it on the machine, and then I start the serape. I take the design from my head. I don't copy designs from my serapes. No two of my serapes are alike. When I make a new one, it will have a different design and different colors. That's what makes it valuable. My grandparents used to weave rags into striped rugs. I also learned from them how to do this, except without a design. And there are a lot of people who weave rags, but they don't weave a design. I make rag rugs that are very beautiful and pretty, and someone comes and buys it, and it's gone. That is why I don't have even one in the house. I sell them all. But from this I make a living. I can't save anything because I have to stretch my money, and I sell what I have to supply myself with what I lack. I love to weave. In the winter, I get out of bed, I eat breakfast, and I get on the loom and weave. I get down from the loom at night and go to bed. The next day, I do the same, weave, and nothing else. There are times when I weave until 12 o'clock at night, as the saying goes, from sunup to sunset. And I don't get tired. Work doesn't tire me. I'll stop weaving when I can't move anymore. Until then, you'll find me dancing on the loom. The land is a blessed thing because it is what produces our food. It produces the clothes that I have because it produces the cotton. It maintains the sheep that produce the wool. It supports the cow that is the meat and the milk. How can the land not be blessed? I shall never sell my ranch in my lifetime. They may sell it when I have gone to the grave, but not in my lifetime will I sell my ranch, because the land is my life and my children's too. The earth is the only thing that gives life, and when one goes back to it, it eats you up. As the saying goes, I am of earth, and earth I will be.